All right. Welcome back to another episode of Lounge 11 with Femi and Samco. Samco, how are you doing this week?
I'm good, man. It's good, giddy, grateful. It's been a great week so far, so can't complain. How about you?
Same. We survived the 1-1 loss to our friends in London, so it's been a good week. It's
It's
been
been a good week.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, plenty for us to get into today. Since the last time we've been here, we're now in the thick of December where games are literally happening every 2 to 3 days, it looks like. And so since we were last on here, it looks like there's been multiple games. At least everybody has played twice since then.
Yes.
Um,
Correct.
the big game from last weekend was the Arsenal Chelsea game. At the time, at
Mhm.
least going into that game, just before City had played the day before, it was number one against number two. And by the time City played, it was number one against number three. And it was supposed to be one of the more difficult games for Arsenal and turned out to be,
Mhm.
just in terms of the results of performances. You would call that it would be a difficult game. So
Yeah.
maybe we start there. Going into that game, what made you see that game as a difficult game and it did pan out the way you expected?
Yeah, because I mean the first thing is we were going back to Stamford Bridge, which is always one of those very difficult places we've always gone to, regardless of the fact we haven't lost there in a long time. Getting a result at Stamford Bridge has always been very much difficult. But what was more important for me was going into the game and not losing. I remember I said I had a very strong feeling it was going to be a draw, but I think we were going to be able to sneak a 1-0 win. Fortunately, that was the case. But bringing us straight into the game, I think initially when the game was done, if there's one thing I'll say didn't change on my perspective in terms of Arsenal was I don't think we had a good game. I think it was very below the par performance from our side, and Chelsea were much more better than us. But when I took the opportunity to watch the game again, I really didn't think both sides had a good game. I think um, I think that of Chelsea was more of with their high press, and they just had a little bit more of the ball. They were more aggressive and stuff like that. A lot of times when you watch the game and you see the way the vibe of the game is going, a lot of people go off that and thinking that team had like a much better game. Definitely, they did have a much better game than Arsenal, but I don't think they even played as good as most people said or thought that they actually did. That was my honest opinion on watching it the second time. I think they were very, lack of better word, I think Chelsea were very excited. I think a lot of things that have been said in the media, the narrative going around, and it looked like they they were like a team that had something to prove. That was, and again, this is coming off watching it the second time. So I felt they were like overly excited. They played with a lot of emotions. If you remember, the ref had all kinds of yellow cards. If I recollect, I think there was 5 yellow cards in the first half and a red card, which was crazy when you think about it. For a London derby, you know it's going to be aggressive. Emotions are going to be high. I thought the referee could have handled the game a little bit much better. Well, like I said, Chelsea were very. I felt their players were just more excited about the game. It's like they had a point to prove. And watching the game, I don't know why it just took me back to Arsenal of 2022, 2023, when the first season we tried to, contend for the league. The following season, I remember when we played Man City at the Emirates, and I think it was a 1-1 game. We were definitely the much better side, if I remember correctly. But then we lost Gabriel to a red card. And again, it was based on the emotions. And then just trying to prove a point to like everybody thinking, Arsenal still had that soft on the belly. That was literally the same thing I saw with Chelsea. In this case, Caicedo was the one who fell for the red card. And the entire first half just felt like a fight to me. I literally didn't see anything in terms of football. Second half will come back. Hincapié gives a foul. They're able to put in a ball in the box. Ryan makes a save. And what's crazy about that save is that ball was actually going out, but he did make a good save, which led to their goal in the beginning of the second half. Even with us down, I still didn't feel we were going to lose the game. And the main factor will be just for the fact that we had a man advantage. We were able to take the ball. We were much cautious with the ball. I think the substitution that Mikel also made were literally the right substitutions as well. We had to take Califeri out because of a red card. We had to take Zubimendi out because of a yellow card for both of them. Rice had to drop into number 6. We didn't have Gabriel and Saliba. So it was like there were so many changes to what our team were used to. Like same way when you look at that of Chelsea as well. Cucurella got a yellow card, so he had to be more cautious. Caicedo was booked, and sorry, he got a red card, so he was out of the game. So it's like what exactly I was looking for in that game. We were never going to get it based on how the tone was set from the first half. But in the end, we got a draw. Um, it felt like I felt we could have won that game just for the fact you had a man down. But then again, a lot of the times when you look at it, beating a 10-man team is always much difficult than when you play an 11-man team. So in terms of that, I'll say it was definitely a fair result. Chelsea did what they had to do to get a point, and yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think following that game, I think one of the things that I personally have found interesting is the narrative around, maybe Arsenal failed a test or didn't capitalize on an opportunity, which I think is fair to say that, we didn't capitalize on an opportunity to extend the lead at the top of the table, just given that we're playing a team that was disadvantaged. But it almost seemed like it was portrayed as if we lost the game, right? Did you
Mm-hmm.
get that feeling as well? Like,
Oh,
that.
definitely. Is like even with my Chelsea friends, few of them that we all know, I literally said to them, like, congratulations on your 1-1 win, because that was definitely the narrative. A lot of the Chelsea fans I did speak to, I got this excitement from them, which I understand as well, because from where they are, a very young team, one man down, they were able to pull a result. So I really did understand. But
Right.
again, like I said, when you look at it based on the narrative, it was crazy because I remember last season when we played Brighton at Emirates and Declan Rice got that second yellow card based on the new rule they had. And I remember the narrative. I think we drew that game 1-1 or 2-2. And the narrative was crazy. We dropped the ball and stuff like that. When we played Man City at the Etihad, we lost Trossard early in the second half or late in the first half to a red card. We went 2-1 up. They equalized on the dying minute. I remember the narrative very well. Everyone came in at Arsenal saying they dropped the ball. You should go there to go win. And it's just like now it's totally opposite, which
It's
makes it
different. Yeah.
so different. Like I'm even asking, I'm like, do you realize Chelsea have had 6 or 7 red cards already this season? I'm yet to hear any word about their disciplinary record.
Discipline, yeah, disciplinary
Like
record, yeah.
it's crazy. Like I said, last season, I know I said in one of our earlier episodes, we had about 14 draws. 6 or 7 of those draws we had last season, we had 10 men because of a red card, right? So for the fact I'm not hearing those narratives about Chelsea's disciplinary record is literally ridiculous to me. But like I said, I understand why their fans might be a little bit upbeat. But then again, I really don't know what it's them. Like I said, they remind me very much about the Arsenal team 2022-2023 season. And I it's like sometimes we also put those expectations on them. Like, what exactly are the expectations from Chelsea? Are you guys here to compete for the league? Are you trying to win the league and stuff like that? Or are you just here for the vibe for top four? So a lot of the times, basically after this game, I think what I saw, what I felt from them was they really felt they were part of this title race, as they should, because those are the expectations that I believe they should set for themselves at this point.
It's funny you talk about expectations because obviously you know where I stand with, the team on our banter calls on Sunday. Last season, I kept talking about how Maresca maybe had a misstep in toning down the expectations when they were in what felt like a good enough position to make a run. I see some of the same things happening again this season.
Yeah.
They'd asked him about if, Chelsea's in the title race, and I think he had mentioned something about waiting till
The
after,
second. Yeah.
is it February or March or something?
Yeah.
And it almost feels like they have a good opportunity there, especially when nobody, I guess, outside of Arsenal and maybe Man City are making a strong push. Even Man City, you can make the argument that there's, it's not smooth sailing, right? And in my view, you got to own it if you want it, right? It looks like they
Yeah,
don't really want that responsibility or the
yeah.
things that come with, like, what do you think of that?
For me, I just look at it like, oh, how do I put it? Is like wanting validation while avoiding expectation. So it's like they want both at the same time, right? Like he
Right.
so much want to be validated, but at the same time, those validation come with a certain type of expectations, which they don't want to
Correct.
embrace in whichever way. I don't know why. Like everybody comes out at Arsenal, Man City, even Liverpool now and say they've spent this much money. So this is what you should be doing. They have spent more than everybody, and this is basically what they should be doing. One world you come out and you say you call yourself the world champions, they won the conference league. Okay, fine. You did that. Due respect to you. So what does that entail moving forward? Are you just going to keep coming and say top four? Again, top four is the same thing you said last season, right? So are you going to keep expecting the same top four after spending more money and winning two more trophies like you keep parading? Like the expectations can go down. It definitely has to go up and
Right, right,
everything.
right.
And also when you look at the narrative about how much they rate their players or their team, which they should do as fans, it's like there was one of our friends that we talked to during the week and he said like he definitely likes what he sees with Maresca as he should as well, because I think Maresca has something where I think he's a good coach. But there was something he said to me that caught my attention when he said that he thinks this team was going to win or have the possibilities of winning the league within 2 years. And I was quite shocked when he said
Sorry,
that. I'm like,
sorry. You said
yeah,
within 2 years, like, so two
within
years
2 years.
from where we are right now.
I mean, we're in 2025, so
So by
in my calculation is right, it's
2027,
2027. And
oh,
I was
that's
like,
interesting.
literally 2027 is here. So if you feel your team can do something or can do that in 2027, that tells me that you're missing one, two, maybe three pieces and stuff like that. So what are those two pieces, two, three pieces? And he said he would expect them to have a much better center back partnership. Like I remember him saying Arsenal understand that. And I'm like, okay. And this is me now talking to myself is if that is the case, if you get those two center backs, you should be ready to put in your hat and say you're ready to win the league. But when I look at it, like I've always said, I think they are very inconsistent. I don't rate their attack. I don't rate their goalkeeper, even if Sanchez has been very good this year. You're
Yeah.
literally telling me that you
You're
can win
literally
the
telling me
league
that we can win.
with a Gittins, Sancho, Pedro Neto, Delap, and Pedro, the striker. There is no way you're winning the league with that attacking front. Like, let's look at the people who have won the league in the past. Again, when I say I'm comparing them to the 2022, 2023 Arsenal, it's just like those moments when we had those expectations of trying to win the league. But when you look back, were we really going to win the league with the likes of Bruce Nelson and Ketia and our team as our attacking options, play off the bench or something? It's never going to happen, right? So these expectations is something they are definitely going to have to embrace. You're not going to keep dancing around it when people ask you, "Are you ready to, to be part of this?" Again, you want the validation, but you're avoiding the expectation. It's as easy as that. Chelsea will always set up, especially Maresca against the big teams, very, very good way as expected, like they've done in the last year, 2 years. But the problem is always going to be with the smaller teams. Look at the results that they've dropped this season. We're looking at the Sunderlands, the Brightons, and of recent Leeds and everything. So it's like, okay, all of a sudden, you guys were all giddy and happy about your 1-1 win against Arsenal. And a few days later, what happens when you go to Ellen Road against Leeds? You drop the ball again. So which one is it? Right?
Yeah, so that's exactly the reason why I actually don't think that they can win the league this season.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, obviously, those are the things they would have to address if they're serious about winning the league. I personally think that to win the league, you're not required to give a 10 out of 10 in every game, but you must be able to show up with minimum maybe 7.5 or 8, right? At least from what we've seen other teams that
Yeah.
have done it, right? You must be able to show up every game prepared to give at the very minimum a consistent enough 7.5, 8/10 every single game. What I see from Chelsea is that, a few games in the season, they can rise to a 9/10, right? They
Mm-hmm.
can go play wherever at any point and deliver a 9/10 performance. but then they can turn around the next game and give you a 6 or a 5 out of 10 against a Leeds or Sunderland and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And those performances are, maybe a mark of what we have seen from them this season, right? They're just not consistent. Fine, you got a point, or I guess you're calling it a 1-1 win against Arsenal. Now you have a chance to go against one of the bottom teams in the league who have lost, I think, four straight at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and really show a mark of seriousness, right? We kept hearing that with 11 against Arsenal's 11, they were more than likely to win. Well, you put 11 on the pitch against Leeds 11 and you get played out of the park, right? And I don't think that's going to cut it in the Premier League if you're really trying to compete at the highest level. What do you think happened in that particular Leeds game for them? Do you think it was just emotions that they were drained from the previous game, or what do you think
No,
played a role?
I can't put it. I mean, we're just at the beginning of for me, the second phase of the season where you get to play a lot of games leading up to the March,
Right.
April kind of schedule. And if you look at it, I think you also have to, it comes down to also the quality of the squad that they have, right? I watched the game at the same time I was watching the Arsenal game because it started a little bit after the Arsenal game. And Leeds were far the better team, especially in the first half. They deserved their lead well. Chelsea were just attacking wise, they were toothless. Midfield wasn't really the best, especially without the presence of Caicedo. I think Enzo had a horrific game watching that. Their defense, I remember he played Chalobah right, Tosin in the middle, it was Batshuayi center back and then Cucurella. They just weren't good. In the second half, they tried to fight back. They got one goal back. He brings in Palmer to try and also, um, get back some result. But Leeds were definitely the better team. I don't think most Chelsea fans can come out and say they even deserve the draw in that game, right? In terms of the schedule and them being tired, I know since the international break, they got to play think it was Burnley away, Barcelona at home, Arsenal at home, and Leeds away. Arsenal, we came back from the international break. We played Spurs at home, Bayern at home, Chelsea away, and Brentford at home. If you look at the level of difficulty of those teams, I'm sure we can come out and say ours were much more difficult in comparison to them. But then again, this is where your depth or in terms of the quality of your squad is being tested. And I think yesterday that showed because he did make some changes. And a few of those changes that he made just did not live up to the expectation like that they were hoping for. And it's funny you mentioned the Arsenal Chelsea game where a lot of them came out and were thinking with 11v11 that they were sure they were going to beat Arsenal. And I said, what? Like, I don't understand where that's like, what proof did you have that 11-11 you were going to beat Arsenal based on you what pressing us much harder or they didn't really have like crazy chances. I remember it's about how like two or three things that he literally blew over the bar. Dalap had a shot straight at Raya. They really didn't have in terms of like chances, right? They scored with a set piece and stuff like that. So I don't know where their narrative was coming from. But again, kudos to them because they put in the effort in terms of the Arsenal game. But that of the Leeds game, they were definitely nowhere anywhere close to being good. And I think Leeds did deserve the win and all 3 points. Yeah.
Before we move on from Chelsea, right? Going into the Arsenal game on Sunday, they were 6 points behind with a real chance
Yeah.
to close the gap at the top. And by Wednesday night, they are now 9 points behind. You've seen Villa pass them, and obviously we know who they play next. Do you think that this is a critical point for them in trying to keep up with the top two, top three, or even top four
Oh,
race? Like
yes.
this
Yeah.
period for them?
Yeah. It's very critical because everybody gets to play in the next, literally every 3 days you get to play. So again, your depth, your squad is going to be very vital. I think the only injuries they have, if I'm correct, is Colwill and then the suspension of Caicedo. So they are going to rotate their squad a lot. A lot of people, I believe, are going to drop points within this period, including us as well. I don't think we're going to be able to go out and win all our games. I mean, we already dropped 2 points against Chelsea already. So this is a very, very vital period for them because if your squad is not able to keep up with the schedule, you just might find yourself a little bit backwards. If you think about it, I think we came out of the international break, is this 6 points ahead of Chelsea, if I'm correct, before we played Spurs. We played them, it went to what, 4 or 6? I think it
No,
was
I
still
don't even remember.
I think
Yeah.
I think it was still 6 points. And within 3 days, they're already back 9 points, right? So this is very vital, not just for them, for everybody. For everybody. You can make up a lot of ground and you can lose a lot of ground as well within the space of 3 to 4 days. So yeah.
Okay. Let's jump back into Arsenal because that was the other team that played on Sunday, and we did play on Wednesday against
Yes.
Brentford. That could have been a tricky game, just given the time between the two games and number of injuries that we're now having to deal with and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um, at the end of the day, it was a 2-0 win. It wasn't the prettiest game that we've seen as Arsenal fans, but it was a necessary 3 points given that City had played the day before and opened up or closed the gap a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, Changes going into that game, were they what you expected? Lineup, performance, and all of that. Walk us through how
Yeah.
you.
In terms of rotations, I expected a few rotations. I expected the likes of Timber, Saka. I thought Marino was going to be rested for Eucharist. I didn't know what he was going to do with the left side because of the injury to Trossard. So I had a feeling maybe most likely Madueke might start. But if Madueke wasn't going to start because of Saka resting, I could see Martinelli starting. So the changes were definitely expected. And in terms of the performance, I think again another good professional performance because I would say everybody that came into the team outside of Martinelli, I think they had a very good game. I think Ben White was just a breath of fresh air. It just reminded me of the Ben White that I know himself.
Retro Ben White, you
Yeah,
know.
literally. I think Madueke played very well as well. They complemented each other as well on that right wing. It was good to see Martin Odegaard back. And there was one thing I noticed with Odegaard in the team is like now that we have Eze, I think Eze gives us this unpredictable fashion of play. But with Odegaard, Odegaard gives us control. It's like you just know when he's in the team and he has the ball, we kind of have control. With Eze, he's like I said, he's unpredictable. So it was good to see because two of them didn't really play until much later. So
Later
I
in the
think,
game.
yeah, Mascara and Nkape, I think they had a very good game until Mascara was injured. Nkape was really, really good. He looked more settled than it was at Stamford Bridge. I think Califiori had a superb game this game. I think he was very, very good this game. So in all, it was a good performance against a very good team. I was shocked to see Brentford have their, I think they had about 5 changes as well, with the likes of Henderson, Thiago. They were all bench Damsgaard. So I was kind of happy to see those guys on the bench and not start the game. And luckily we got a goal pretty early from the right side. Um, Very good. Marino again came up in a clutch moment to give us that goal. I think he's definitely surpassed a lot of expectations that we had for him. I think I was seeing the stats that for club and country, he has, I think it's 25 GAs in 2025. And I think 20 of those are goals and 5 assists, which is ridiculous for a player like him. So I think him to stepping into that striker's position, he's done a good job like he did for us last season. I think Ben White as well stepped in to help Timber. The only worries I'm beginning to have again is these injuries we seem to be picking up. We have 4 centre backs. We literally have lost 3 in the space of a month. We've lost 3 in the space of a month. And it's
That's
getting
Gabriel, Saliba, and
and
Muscara.
yeah.
Right.
And luckily for us, Timber was able to fill in, but how long is he able to fill in? It's one thing to have good depth, but your depth are able to, or they are meant to come in to help you out for 2, 3, maybe 4 games, right? Because they also add to the balance of the team. So I'm a bit worried about injuries. I'm glad we have the depth. Luckily we've had a lot of players back. And I'm just hoping the likes of Saliba are back as quickly as possible because we play a very tough game this weekend. We don't know what state of our injuries are. I think even Declan Rice stepped out of the game with a little bit of a niggle. So, I mean, all we could ask for was 3 points and we got those 3 points. So, all in all, good performances. There was nothing for me to be critical about.
The Marino thing is really interesting because that's again, I think he scored against Chelsea, and then the first goal, the opening goal against Brentford. You hear this talk now about do Arsenal even need Jokeres, right? With Marino getting the goal, right? Everybody's fit. What do you think Arteta does there? I know it's kind of silly, but these are the things that
Um,
we're hearing.
I,
So,
I, everybody feel I think Gyökeres gets back into the team, and the reason I say that is because you don't go spend that kind of money on a striker and change your style of play just have him on the bench, right? Marino is let's be truthful and just face the fact he's not a striker. He's a midfielder who is doing a shift for someone, right? So if everyone is fit, I want to believe Gyökeres comes into the picture, and I believe that should be the right thing to do. It was unfortunate he left or got injured against the Burnley game, which he seemed to have been playing very well. But I'm happy he's coming back now because we have literally games every 3 days. So I think he should be able to find his footing back as quickly as possible. So my opinion is to get him back in for sure.
and finally, my thoughts on Arsenal. What is that? 18 games now unbeaten in all competitions. I think it's the longest stretch under
You know, I didn't know
Arteta.
that.
Yep, 18
I
games
actually
unbeaten.
didn't know that.
That what is
18.
18? Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Wow.
are one Soboslai free kick away currently from being unbeaten this
Oh,
season.
oh yeah, that's true because it's just a
That's the
Liverpool
only
game.
game that we've lost so
Yeah,
far
they
this season.
withdrew Man City, withdrew Chelsea and Sunderland. Wow, that's interesting. I actually didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, 18 games. The other thing that I remember from that Liverpool game, as you were talking about Marino, is I was teasing some of our guys on No Fly Zone. Remember in the Liverpool game that we lost, we were accused of playing too many DMs.
Too many DMs, yeah.
And now some of those same people are asking the question as to does Marino become your starting striker? It's really interesting because
It's crazy talk because I'm like, you can't call this guy a DM and all of a sudden now you're asking if he's going to be our starting striker. Let's keep
right,
it as it is. Like, I've
right.
always maintained he's a midfielder, he's a box crusher. So I didn't know he could play the striker position as well as he has done so far. But in terms of the qualities to play that position, I'm not shocked, right? Just for the fact that I knew him as someone that was a box crusher, right? He knows how to move around the box, coming in deep from midfield. But like I've said, when you watch him play, he doesn't really occupy that striker position when we play. He's much more in the midfield. And that's the difference you see when you have a player like Havertz or Gyökeres on the pitch, because those are the guys that, especially Gyökeres, they know how to occupy those centre backs. They know how to run down those channels and make use of spaces and stuff like that. So in terms of, I think we also have to give Mikel credit for picking out that skill or the abilities of Marino to be able to do, because a lot of us would never have even had Marino on our bingo card in terms of someone who can play that position. We'll look more
I
at our
did.
players. Yes, you
I
did.
did.
You're the only person that called it. Most of us will be looking at the likes of Trossard or Martinelli or something. We'll look at more of the attacking players. But he was able to see something in Marino and said, okay, this guy can do something that I need to be done in this team. And that's why I've said I think the reason Mikel likes Marino is because he's efficient in what Mikel wants from him. He's able to do whatever Mikel wants at an efficient level. Might not be the greatest level, but just for the fact that he makes those things done and he does them very, very well, I think that's why Mikel trusts him to play in this position. Like I said, I thought Marino was going to come off the bench and just get a little bit of a rest. So now it will be interesting to see how we go into the Aston Villa game because they're very much in a good form right now. I think they won their last 7 or 8 games. I think
They're
they
the
even
most informed team in the league.
actually they're even the
Yeah,
most informed team,
they're the
right?
most
That's the
informed
kind
team
of
in the
team I
league.
want to play, especially away. I want my striker on the pitch. Their centre backs, I want someone who's going to occupy their centre backs and stuff like that. So credit to them and credit to Marino as well. Because you also need to realize he's one of those players who never complains. Whether he starts, sits on the bench, whatever job you give him to do, he does it, literally. So it's also good to have those kind of players in the squad, especially when you're trying to win a title. You need those players who are willing to just come off the bench, start a game, do whatever it's required from them. No complaints.
Finally, on that game, before we move on, we have to address some of the silliness that we see online. I think one of the topics that came up was the Saka goal. Saka obviously sealed the game just at the
Okay.
death there, and the criticism that we're hearing is that he should have passed the ball to Gyökeres, that Gyökeres was in a more open position.
Yeah.
I personally think it's silly, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think anybody can accuse Saka of being a selfish player, just given the fact that he has been one of our leading assist getters over the last few seasons, right? But your thoughts on some of those takes?
I think it's very silly. I'll be truthful. At the moment, I was screaming for him to pass because it looked like Gyökeres was right there and the goalkeeper had moved out of position. But if you look at the goal from behind the post, the goalkeeper was pretty much central. There's a possibility he passes the ball, he scores. There's a possibility when he gets the ball, there was a defender right behind Gyökeres that I don't know if Gyökeres was aware about, right? But at the end of the day, as an attacking player in that position, I had nothing against him going for or making an attempt and goal. And he made the attempt on goal and guess what? He entered. So what's the problem? A goal is a goal. And the goal literally buried the game. So in terms of saying he needed to pass the ball, yeah, I don't that never even came past my mind at one time. Like I said, at that moment, I thought that was what he was going to do. But the minute the
Yeah,
ball was into the net, never did I even revisit that moment and be like, oh, why didn't he just cross the ball or something? No. So yeah, very silly argument to me. I think those are just the guys that just have whatever agendas that they want to cook up against Saka or something. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's been a few games without a set piece goal. Are you concerned?
extremely concerned, bro. Like he's irritating me, and I'm being honest. Like I'm getting so irritated. Like I need my set piece goals. Like I'm being so truthful. Like I need my set piece. Like I can't go this long without my set piece goals. Like I need it so bad. I mean,
Inject it
again,
into my veins, man.
yeah, like this is what everyone asks for, right? You said you wanted open play goals. Now you're getting way too much open play goals. Apparently, I think we've not scored what in 10 or something. In 10
No, we
games, I
got
think.
one in the well, that was in the Champions League, right?
Yeah, I think the
That
last
was in the
Champions League
Champions League.
that was yeah
Bayern
against
Munich, Timber.
Timber, yeah. But
In the league, it's been a minute, right? We
yeah,
didn't
it's been a
score one
minute because
against
I think the last
Chelsea.
one was Gabriel.
Yeah,
We literally have beat this drum so much from the beginning of the season. We're much more than a set piece team, right? So whichever drums that they want to beat off, that's fine. I
right,
don't care how my goals come. But me, I know I need my set piece goal. That's one is for sure. And hopefully I get it this weekend because
right. All right, let's touch briefly. Let's go around the league before we get to the weekend. Man City. Let's touch on
oof,
them very briefly. They
yeah,
survived. What is it now? Two games
2 games back to back, Leeds and
back to
Fulham.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But they are still the second best team in the league right now. Just
Mhm.
looking at the table, and it almost seems surprising just given how they've played. But they're right there. They're what 5 points behind Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
What did you make of? What did you take away from those two games against Leeds? They required a last minute. Was it last minute or close to the end of the game?
Oh,
Winner
but the
against
Leeds
Leeds.
won. Yes.
And then honestly, the Fulham one was interesting
Yeah,
to me. There were
The Fulham one
I
was
was
crazy.
at work, so I wasn't watching the game. I saw
Yeah. It
five. Was it
was
five
5-1
two,
at one
five
point.
one? I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, they've
They've
won this
won the game.
comfortably. The
Man,
next thing
that's
I've seen is 5-4.
bro.
Right? So it's 6 points, two
Yeah.
wins from two. But if you're a City fan today, how concerned are you?
You have to be really concerned. One thing that tells me is that there's another shaky defeat close by. Because when you have those type of performances against two teams back to back, one at home and one away, it only tells me that I think there was a little bit of comfort in them, right? They were 2-0 up and then it came back 2-2. You were 5-1 up and then they came back 4-4. Luckily for you, you were able to come back. And the Premier League is things like that are not sustainable. You could get away with it for 3, 4, maybe 5 games, and then it's going to come back and bite you on the backside. So I think their defense is still a problem. I think Pep is still struggling to also find that balance. But the thing I've noticed with Pep lately is that he's having so many changes, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's one thing he's always done, right? That's why we always said like Pep led. But the difference I've noticed with this team and the teams that we've been used to with Pep in the Premier League is I think what he has right now are quality players, but I don't think they are of the same quality of the likes
Yeah,
of when
you've said that
were
quite a bit
yeah.
actually.
I think
Yeah.
that's the difference that they have because when you had like the KDBs, the David Silvas, Bernardo when he was balling out and everything, like these guys when they put a game to bed, they put a game to bed,
Hmm.
right? Now it's a little bit different. When you look at their wingers are not the same like when they had the Sterlings, the Sanes, the Mares and stuff. They used to have the Agueros and whoever the other striker was, even when they had Alvarez and Haaland. Now is a little bit different, right? You're having Haaland having to carry a lot of the weight, Foden doing his thing here and there, the likes of Cherki, Tijani, Mamouche, all of them are still trying to get into the game. Doku has improved in his performances. So I think there's a little bit of comfort in their games, especially when they're scoring. But I think they need to be careful, especially within this Christmas period, because there's going to be a lot of changes in terms of the squad, which means they are going to have to take and manage their results. But what was funny about the Fulham game was when it was 5-4, I still knew City were going to win the game. And the reason I knew that was because I didn't believe that Fulham knew what it took to draw a game like that. If it was the opposite and Fulham were 5 and City were 4, I can see City drawing that game, right? But by the time they scored to the fourth goal, I just had a feeling like Fulham were going to be out of gas. Like for you to make the next one, I think it was going to be a little bit difficult for them. And luckily
But they
for
had
City,
a chance right at the end there,
they had a chance at the end. Yeah, they had a chance
Yeah.
at the end. But again, like I said, do they know how to do those, those final little tangibles that you need to get those extra goals? I don't think they have what it takes as well. And City has that already. So, um, good for them, good 6 points for them, but I think they need to be careful because that just tells me there's a weird loss coming up if they keep it at the same as the same rate in the last 2 games.
Let's move on to United.
Mm,
United lost um, at Everton, and so they came back and won away to Crystal Palace,
yeah,
a game that many people probably didn't have them winning. And
yeah,
then, as we saw today, drop points at home again to West Ham.
yeah.
This looks like United as we know them, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's not much to add to that. Like this is what we know of United. Very inconsistent. It's funny the Crystal Palace game, how they won that game, I have no idea. They didn't deserve to win that game. Like literally, Palace were the way better team. And then today, I think I watched a little bit of their game today, especially more of the first half. I think they were a little bit better today. First half, Wan-Bissaka was very, very good. He was doing his usual tackles and everything.
Right.
And even when they scored, when Dallas scored in the second half, I literally thought Manchester United was going to see the game out. I was watching it with one of our boys, and he was literally saying, like, I just hope we're able to see this one out. And I was telling him, like, I think this game is pretty much like comfortable, especially for the fact West Ham just played Liverpool. They lost the game at home. I didn't know if they were going to like have that extra push, but long and behold, they went for it and they got something. And this is the Manchester United we're getting used to. There's this inconsistency is still going to be like this for a little bit. So they had chances in this game if you think
They
about
had
it. They
lots of chances.
had
Yeah.
lots of chances.
Yeah.
They just didn't finish them. Konya, I actually went to look into Konya's numbers today. I was actually surprised in what I literally saw. I didn't know it was that bad
Tell
actually.
people what I call Konya in our group chat.
Konacho.
I call him
Like
Konacho.
I
I call
was
him Mr. Happy
actually
to be
shocked.
here.
Yeah, I was actually
You
shocked. I
know,
didn't know it was that bad. I went to look into it today. I was like, okay, wow. For a guy you guys paid all this money for, especially what he did at Wolves, you're definitely not getting anything back. And for the fact they're going to lose their main right side of the team in Nguemo, Ahmad and Mazarawi. If you think about it, Nguemo and Ahmad seem to be their best outlets,
I
actually,
think so. Yeah.
right? In terms of goals, numbers, and everything. If you're going to lose that, Cunha is not putting up those numbers. I
Hmm.
think Mount has maybe two goals, but can Mount play every 3 days for you? I don't think so. When is Sesko coming back? We don't know. Bruno, you're playing him way too deep away from the attacking players. So yeah, I think we're still going to see some interesting results. And I checked their schedule. Their next five,
They play
I
Wolves
think
twice.
they play exactly that was it, but they play Wolves twice. It's funny because last Sunday, one of our boys was willing to put a bet and say Manchester United would not win Wolves. And now I look at both games and I think I'll be shocked if United actually win both of those games. This is even minus because I think they play Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Villa
In these 5 games.
in their next five.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be tough to get three
Yeah,
wins.
that's going to be tough, especially if you
Yeah.
lose the likes of your Nguemos, your Ahmads, and Mazarawi. You don't have your Sesko back. Kune hasn't hit the ground running. Bruno isn't really contributing in terms of the JNA.
I honestly think
Zesty,
the conversation is, can United avoid 3 losses? If those are the fixtures that you're talking about, those are really
can they
tough
avoid
fixtures.
3 losses? I would say yes. I can see them getting draws
Right,
in those games, but yeah, I can see them. Can they avoid it? Yes, I can. I can see them avoiding 3 losses in those five.
right,
But
right,
they are going to need more than that, especially in this period, because you'll be playing one game a week. So your team isn't really allowed the tiredness and all that, because every other person be playing in Europe and stuff. So you've had up until December to play literally every week. So now
right,
again, every 3 days, everyone is going to have to maximize their squad. And this was one part I told a few of my Man U friends that I don't think they have a lot of the squad depth when the business time of the season comes. Because now is the business time of the season. Once we get into January, FA Cups are coming into play. You don't know how you're going to do with that. Between December and January, you're literally almost going to be playing every 3 days. So they also have to find themselves in good position during that period, and you're already losing your right side, like literally one, two,
right.
three during the AFCON. So
We'll see.
we'll see how they're able to get through that. Yeah.
We'll see. And let's jump ahead just to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Liverpool is the last one that I wanted us to talk about. They had West Ham. I think they won at. Were they away at West Ham? I think they
Yes.
were away at
Yes.
West Ham.
They were. Yes.
They won. Isak finally got off the mark in the Premier League for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, yesterday, or at least earlier
Yes.
this week, they dropped point again to Sunderland in a game that they very well could have lost. So it
Yes.
seems like they can't really get much going right now. It's like you take one step forward in the case of West Ham, and then you take another step back. What do you think of, Liverpool? Like, obviously this season, I think it's probably unrealistic to expect them to be contending for any title right now. But
Yeah.
what does a good season even look like from a Liverpool standpoint right now?
With the trajectory in which they're going, phew, top four and a cup will have to be a good season for them. Because when you watch them play, I didn't really watch them against West Ham, but I watched them against Sutherland because based on when we played Sutherland, I just knew Liverpool were not winning that game, regardless of whether I was away at Stadium of Light or Anfield. I just knew the team was going to be well structured against Liverpool. But when you actually watch them play, they literally look so disjointed. Like you don't feel, I don't know, there's something wrong in that camp for sure. What exactly it is, I don't know. They're not playing together. And it's even more crazy when you realize these are the guys that won the league last year. They brought in quality players this year, but something just don't seem to work. What is it? I don't know. We've said he's feeling with the balance. Some of us have called out that okay, you might need to bench Salah. He benched Salah in this game. They were bad. He brought Salah in. They were not any better and stuff like that. Verts was I would say was okay in the game against Sunderland. The likes of Isak, Gakpo, Van Dijk not having a great game. McAllister's are just a shadow of himself, what we've known from him in the last 2 years. So a good season for them. I think they need to target the top four and try to win one of the domestic cups because that of the league, Yeah. I think even most Liverpool fans will tell you the league is already out of reach for them. What are they going to be like in the Champions League? We don't know because most likely they're going to finish outside the top eight, which means you're going to face someone in the playoffs. Who are that? Who are those people that are going to play in the playoffs? We have no idea. Hopefully they have or they found themselves in better form by the time those playoffs come. They're already out of the Carabao Cup. FA Cup is going to start sometime in January. So I think those are their two main aims they need to do. And I think in terms of Slot, like I've said, he needs to figure, especially at home, he needs how to find out or find ways to start getting results. Because the minute you lose the home fans, that's it for you. It's going to be hard for the board to go against the home fans, and when you have that negative energy around the stadium, most likely the board are going to have to do something. Yeah.
It's funny because I'm probably one of the few people that isn't surprised about the results at home,
Yeah.
because before the United game, were on here with Doye and Kamsi, and I'd mentioned very specifically that the way they're playing, I expect there to be more problems down the road, and I thought they were going to lose that United game, which they ended up losing. But since then, I think they've lost 4 games at home at
Since the
Anfield
United game?
since the United game, right? And then obviously they drew the
Really?
Sunderland. Yes, yeah, and then they drew the Sunderland game. So basically, what we're seeing now is that Anfield is no longer shaping up to be this fortress that we have seen
Yeah.
over the years. I think that is concerning.
Yeah.
On the last episode, I think I also mentioned that as long as they retain that front three of Salah, Isak, and whoever it is, Gakpo, where it subverts, they were going to struggle. So it was interesting to see that Salah got dropped, I think for the first time in however
Very
many years, for
50 something
back
games
back to
back to
back
back. Yeah,
games.
started.
Right.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't enough, right? So there is something really, really shaky going on there. If you're a Liverpool fan today, are you concerned?
You have to be concerned. You have to be concerned because, like, again, we also need to remember that these are the guys that won the league last year,
Right.
right? There was already a narrative going around saying, oh, they lost the league because Man City and Arsenal had injuries. Man City wasn't really good enough and stuff like that. And then you win the league, you go into the transfer market, you break your transfer record twice, you outspend every other person in the market. Literally, it was hard for you to find anybody that will go against Liverpool for winning the
Liverpool.
league,
Right.
right? So now let's put that to the side. Even if you said Liverpool was not going to win the league, I don't know anybody that will come out and say Liverpool was not in their top two. And now when you look at the results, outside them not even getting the results, their performances are not any better, right? And if you think about it, their performances have been like this since game week 1. They won those first 5 games, but their performances literally have been like this. So now it's like they need someone to get them up, but who, we don't know. It doesn't seem to be Salah. Now you're benching him, their best player, highest goal scorer. It doesn't seem to be Van Dijk, their leader, best defender. Who is the other person you can look up to? Verts, he's not been able to adjust really to the league. Great striker in Isak. He's not popping goals. He's not doing anything. Ekitike came in, gave them a few goals at the beginning of the season, but since then he's been on a drought. Gakpo is hot and cold. McAllister, like I said, a shadow of himself. Gravenberch here and there. Sabozlai literally has been their best player since the beginning of the season,
I agree.
right? And how much really can Sabozlai do? Like how much more? Konate isn't any better helping Van Dijk. Robertson is good here and there. Kirkes, same thing here and there. They don't, their two right backs are injured. So it's like, this could actually keep going. And now we're again in busy festive period where you're playing every 3 days. So it's yesterday, I literally asked myself, I'm like, what's literally going on in Liverpool? It makes no sense how you win the league. And I mean, with Man City, when they dropped off last season, I remember when Rodri had the injury, I kept saying, I'm like, this is going to have a big effect on Manchester City because of how they play through
Yeah,
Rodri and what
you
he
could see
brings to that. Yeah,
the
you could
reason for
tell.
the drop off. Yeah.
Exactly. But with Liverpool, we don't have that reason. The only thing you can point out to say is that all their good players are just not playing well. You can't bring it down to injuries. It's literally their players are really not playing well.
Right.
So Slot definitely has to figure it out for sure.
We'll see. Hopefully, well, I don't really care one way or the other if he's able to figure it out, figure it out or not. But it's also just really interesting to see Liverpool so far down on the table at the moment. So
Yeah,
we'll continue to observe there. Let's turn our attention to the weekend's round of games. There
yeah.
are quite a few games coming up, not just in the league, but I think in Europe as well. Let's look at a few of them. We'll start with, I think one team that has to actually make a response is Chelsea, right? They've had a really interesting week. 1 point ultimately from 2 games, so they go away to Bournemouth. What do you think happens in that game?
Away to Bournemouth, because Bournemouth has literally dropped in form as well lately. They started the season pretty much good, although they've had a few injuries. I don't know what was their. Oh, actually, their last result was Sunderland. They
They
lost.
lost. Yeah, they
Yeah,
lost.
they were leading 2-0, and
Right.
Sunderland came out to win. I think Chelsea can get a win. I think Chelsea can get a win at Bournemouth, but it depends on when Bournemouth shows up. If it was at Stamford Bridge, I'll give the edge to Bournemouth. But then again, they don't have Caicedo. That will actually be an edge. I actually don't know where to go, but
I'm going
maybe I'll just
Bournemouth
go
for sure. I'm going Bournemouth because I forget what their stadium is called. Is it Vitality or whatever it's called?
Vitality. Yeah,
When that stadium is rocking, it's rocking, man.
it's rocking. Yeah,
When that stadium is rocking, that stadium is rocking. And because they're at home, I think it's going to be rocking again, right?
yeah.
They're
Especially
going
with
to,
that loss to Sunderland,
right.
will be up to something.
I think they're going to be up for it. I
Yeah,
think they're going to give Chelsea a real go.
yeah,
And you've talked about rotation. I don't know what Chelsea shows up in terms of their defense, but they're going to have to deal with, you know, Bournemouth. So I'm going to give Bournemouth the edge for me personally. I
yeah.
would say they win 2-1. That would be my prediction. Another good game is Man City hosting Sunderland.
Sunderland is going to get something from this game. I really
You
do
think
think
so?
so. I really did think so because they're very good. They keep a very good structure, and most likely he's going to go with his back five. I don't know what I want to. I want to say a draw, man. I want to say a
Yeah, I
draw.
think
Can
that's
Man
the
City
most
win?
Sunderland can get out of that game. I don't
Yeah,
see
yeah. I
Sunderland
think that's
winning.
the
Yeah.
most they can get. Can Man City win? Of course they can. But based on their last two outings, that defense is what I don't know. Man City's defense. So I think I'll go a draw, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to draw, so let me just come out and say that's right. I don't think
yeah,
well, actually I do want Sunderland to win, but I don't see that realistically happening.
yeah. I don't think I see a
Um
win.
so I would expect a draw. Leeds hosting Liverpool. Leeds are I don't know what the schedule gods have done to Leeds because they played who they play?
They
Man
played Man
City.
City,
They
Chelsea.
play
Now they
Chelsea, and now for their reward to come up and get air and catch their breath, they have to play Liverpool. What do you think happens there?
I think I'll go Liverpool on this one because Leeds are a team that they really try to go on an attack. They had very good performance against Chelsea. They were good against Man City. But I think Liverpool might just be able to edge this one. So I think I'll go Liverpool with this one.
I think so too, but
Yeah.
Fark or whatever his name is,
Fuck,
the
yeah, Daniel
manager,
Fark. Yeah.
he's made some changes. They went 3-5-2. I think they're really retro with two strikers, two big guys up front there, and I think that is exactly what Liverpool does not want to deal with. Those
Hmm.
long balls coming into the
Yeah.
into their half, right?
Yeah.
They have a hard time managing those kind of games, it looks like, and that's exactly the kind of game I think they're going to see with Dominic Carvalho and what's the other Miche or Michu? What's the
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that. Is sounds like
yeah.
a Igbo name. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a difficult game. I think Liverpool have enough to edge it.
Yeah.
So I'll see. And finally, from the league standpoint, our game against Aston Villa, we're going to Villa Park. Very difficult ground to go to. The two most informed teams in the league right now.
Yeah. Everything about this game, I don't like it. It's away, first game of the weekend.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Everything about it, I don't like it.
You're right.
With the injuries we're having, especially defensively. But I don't know why I think I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I would love a win, but I think both teams are going to cancel each other out. I'll wait to see what the team news is. I'm hopeful we hear something good on Saliba, because I don't think Mascara is going to be available. If we don't have Saliba back, we're going most likely with the Timber and Hincape. So we need one of those bodies back, because Hincape is beginning to play so many games as well, because we play the Champions League next week. Um, ah, I would love to go for a 1-0 to Arsenal, because I think we have the attacking options that we need. The defensive options are what I'm a little bit worried about, because of the balance and the team we're playing. So I think I'll go. Have we even had a 0-0 draw this season?
Nope.
Oof. Yeah, maybe I'll go 1-0 win Arsenal, actually.
I was
I think it's
waiting
one
for
of
that,
those
my
games.
guy.
I think it's one of those games we can also sneak something and just lock up shop,
I've
which I
submitted my own
think
prediction already. So on the
I think
Banter
is
app,
what we need to do.
I went with 2-1 Arsenal. Um, I think 9 times out of 10 this season, until something changes my mind, I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I don't
Yeah.
know what that 1 out of 10
It's
is
going
going
to
to
be
be.
such a difficult game.
Of
Did we
course,
win there last season? I can't remember. I
I
think we
don't think we
drew.
did. I don't think we did. But it's gonna be. I
No, no, no,
acknowledge
no.
that
I
it's
think
gonna
we
be.
did. I think we won last season there, but we drew at the Emirates,
Yeah,
because
I
I think we
acknowledge it's
played
gonna
them
be a.
very early last season.
Well, it's a totally different team at the same time, so I don't
Yeah,
really care what happened last season. I think this team is playing with a different kind of edge. Um, very resolute defensively. So, and they're also in form. So I think that's why I'm conceding that I don't see a clean sheet in this particular game for us. At the same time, they're a team coming into good form. With the number of wins and goals that they've scored recently, I
yeah,
think that creates a bit of an open game. Uh, I don't expect them to set up with a low block, because I think they're good enough to also cause problems. So I'm going with a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I think we'll find ways to exploit them. So that's my
yeah.
prediction.
I think I'll go 1-0. I would love a clean sheet around against them, actually.
Let's quickly take a look at I think this next weekend is Champions League. I don't think we'll
Yes,
go through all the games, but there are some interesting games on
I
the
think there's some
radar.
interesting games this time. Yeah.
Yes. So Inter is playing Liverpool, so very little reprieve there. And maybe we'll talk about that one. And then I thought Real Madrid is playing
Real
City,
Madrid City. Yeah.
and then Arsenal is playing Club Brugge. Let's get the Arsenal one out of the way. Arsenal Club Brugge. I
Club
think
Brugge,
we're going to rest
they're a
some
good
players in that
team.
game.
I think Club Brugge. I remember I watched their game against Barcelona, the one that I felt they got cheated against
Oh
Barcelona.
yeah, the penalty that wasn't given at the end.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the goal that was disallowed
No, the
rather.
goals that was disallowed.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think we can win, but that is a game that I am expecting Mikel to make a lot of changes as well.
same.
Yeah, I think he's going to make a lot of changes, because I think after that we have moves at the Emirates, right? But I think based on the squad depth that we have, we can be able to go there and pick up a win at Club Brugge. So I'll go to win for Arsenal for sure. It's Europe. A lot of teams always attack in Europe, which suits us. So that's the reason I'll go for that at Club Brugge. Yeah.
This is probably one of my 1 in 10 games where I won't predict a win.
Yeah.
And I might change my mind. We'll see. But as of right now, I don't see us winning that game. I think it's going to be a draw. And it's not because we're not good enough. I just think we've created a bit of a buffer in Europe to be able to stomach changes, especially in a month where games are coming in thick and fast. I think there will be a lot of changes with injuries. I don't think those changes are going to be as cohesive as we would expect. I think you're just
Yeah.
really putting 11 players on the pitch and doing that in an away ground at Club Brugge is going to be a bit difficult. So I don't
It's going
know
to be
if,
good to watch. Yeah.
yeah. So for
Yeah.
those
The
reasons,
only reason,
I'm going with a draw.
yeah, the reason I feel we can win again, like I said, because it's Europe, right? And a lot of these teams are still trying to find their way and fight to climb the table. So a lot of the times they come up a little bit open against us. I think we have a good defensive setup, but I also think we have the attacking options for that game that could also help us get a point. And it would be good if we get maximum 3 points because I think right after that, I think we play. I'm not sure, but I think it might be Inter.
Oh,
I think so. So if we can just get these 3 points, I think we're pretty much good because I know our
right.
last game is a very easy game as well. He's definitely going to rotate for that. So if we can just secure these 3 points, I think we can just forget about the Champions League to the knockout stages.
All right. Inter Milan hosting Liverpool.
Long day for slot. Long day for slot. That's for sure. It's gonna be a long day for slot. I'll be really shocked if Liverpool get a win there. So I will go Inter. I'll go with an Inter win. Inter have also had a good Champions League start as well. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
they
going.
lost. They lost to Atletico Madrid last away.
Yeah,
So I think they grab a win in this one.
yeah. I think I'm going with a win as well. I don't watch a lot of Inter games, but they just seem like a team that you don't want to play. They're very
Yeah,
scrappy. They
yeah,
fight for everything. So
yeah,
that's not the kind of game that Liverpool wants. And
yeah.
for those reasons, I think Liverpool will lose that game. And then I think the biggest game of this game week, as far as the Champions League is concerned, is Real Madrid hosting Manchester City. Thoughts on that game?
Who's at home?
Real Madrid.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Etihad.
It's Real Madrid.
Yeesh. Real Madrid won. Was it yesterday? I think they played Bilbao.
Yep,
I
yep.
think they won 3-0. Before that,
Mbappe is in the form of his life, man.
yeah,
Like
they've drawn the last games.
they drew their
And Real
last
Madrid,
three
three,
league
yeah,
games prior to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Real Madrid seem to always like that Man
they
City.
get up for
This
yeah.
thing. Yeah, they
They
always
get
get
up
up
for
for
Man
them.
City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get up for Man City a lot. And it's just for the fact that it's at the Bernabeu. I think I'll go with Real Madrid.
Same. I just don't know how they like if they have anybody in the Man City defense right now that can really stop Mbappe. And now the Liverpool game is a good blueprint. I think anytime Real Madrid is involved, my thoughts are still going to be the same. As long as you're putting same thing I said for
Everyone will just
Liverpool,
forward.
Vinicius, Mbappe, maybe Rodrigo, or whoever plays the front three alongside those two. It becomes a bit of a risk. Now, if you're able to
Yeah,
dominate on the offensive side, then that risk is readjusted, right? But Man City is the exact kind of team that can
yeah,
exploit those risks.
yeah, will exploit them. Yeah,
So we'll see. I
I
don't
agree.
have a actually no, I'm gonna go Man City. Nah, I'm going with a draw. I
I
just
would
don't
like
see
that.
yeah, I'm going with a draw. I
I
don't
would
see
like.
Man City going into the
I'll definitely
Bernabeu
like the
and getting
draw.
a result.
I don't know. There's something I enjoy about that play of having a lot of good teams in there. I enjoyed
Let
it last season. I
you
think
want
I
them to
want more
slug
of
it
that.
out.
Yeah, well, I like a few of them to talk it out. Some people
Yeah,
just go home, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'll
Well,
go with
that's all
that.
we have this week, my guy. That's I think that was we covered quite a bit. We covered quite
Yep.
a bit, and we'll be back same time next week. But before that, obviously, we'll be on our call on Sunday on the banter. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a lot of people
Hopefully
have
with
things
another
to answer
W.
for. Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah. This
oh
Villa
yeah.
W, man, this would do a very big to do something very big for
I
us, man. It's
think
gonna be big.
some teams are dropping points this weekend. I hope
Yes.
we're not one of them.
Yes.
And
I
if
believe so
that plays
too.
out to be correct, we open up a big lead at the top
A
of the
big
table.
lead. Yeah. Yeah. Villa win would be very, very big for us.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk. We'll talk Sunday.
I speak to you soon.
All right.
All right.